Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get airborne options weapon school with our final live trading session of the week. Hopefully, everybody's been having a good time. A little bit of a rebound in the market today. Kind of a sell on the news, buy on the rumor. Maybe with the tax vote later in the day, we have a lot to talk about. I released our annual slots, only 25 of them yesterday, and we have about 9 left. So let me go over to the page here, and as you'll see, we do have room for a couple. I'll go ahead and open them early. Here's the page, folks. You have 4 options. 2 annual options, the options weapon school by itself, which is the primary live trade brief, which you did on Tuesday, and the urgent alert, which I might do today or tomorrow, depending on what's going on in the market. Or you have the options weapon school annual with weekly options option. It's a lot of options there. And then options weapon school monthly or the weekly options monthly. So here's the annual prices, and then here's the monthly. So if you want to give it a shot for a couple months, some folks come on board and do the month-to-month for about 3-4 months, and then upgrade into an annual. We'll lock in that price in case there's a price increase in a couple months, so we'll lock in your annual fee even if you start out month to month. So that's it right there. Let me go ahead and throw this in the chat box. So only 9 slots remain, and we'll probably get rid of those by the time I am done squawking. So here we go. And I know some people have called and you're talking to support and all sorts of other stuff or moving some stuff around. I got to be honest with you, as soon as we get our the final 9 here, we're going to get airborne and end up taking this page down. So once this page is gone, you got to wait for the Giles, go ahead and click on the order page. I can't take your order here, obviously. I'll take the annual for the OWS only. So the $9.95, just click on this button, Giles, right here. Do that now. It'll take you about 1 minute to fill it out. So there's the big announcement for the day, folks. We will open up some monthly slots. But obviously, if you do the math, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we're not rocket surgeons here. It costs us more money, credit card fees, all sorts of other fees each month. So we give you a discount on the annual price. So if you end up doing it for a couple of months and then do the annual, you would have done better off just doing the annual to begin with. Make sense? Okay, so Giles, welcome aboard. Go ahead and fill that out real quick, and we'll only have 8 left after Giles grabs his. All right, so we had a good time so far this week. A lot going on in the market. It's been a very, very interesting week, and it's going to be today. Today we should have Elon Musk. There was a good article in Zero Hedge this morning about the Tesla killer. Another reason Tesla's going to roll over. I'll share that with you. But his little rollout today, and then obviously we're supposed to have the tax reform vote later. Folks, just because this clears the House, just because the House votes for tax reform doesn't mean anything. There's a senator, what the hell's his name? One of the Republican senators already said no. John McCain said it's dead on arrival. Senator Cruz said it's dead on arrival. So if we get a little bit of a relief rally out of the market here, it still has to pass the Senate, folks, and 100 of those people, and that's just an absolute clown car over there. So we've had a good week. Monday night we did a welcome aboard at 7 p.m. We did our primary live trade brief. Tuesday morning, we talked about ExxonMobil. The energy sector got hammered yesterday on news that the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund wants to remove oil and gas positions from their master portfolio to reduce the volatility. Who cares? Whatever. ExxonMobil is still a great trade, and we're going to trade the hell out of the front month. Last night, we did vertical spread trading. Somebody just said they got filled. On Amazon. Who got filled on that? Steve got filled on Amazon at $1.35. Great. Yep. So we covered a good actionable trade last night on Amazon. It was kind of a sample of the training you're going to get when you join up, and you get access to all the Options Weapon School videos. So if you did not get a chance to attend that last night, that's still a good trade, obviously. Let me give you the link. So here is the link to the replay page in case you couldn't attend last night. And we had a good discussion, a lot of good stuff going on. So there's the replay page. You can also grab your slot on the replay page. There's 2 big buttons there. Stephen got filled at $1.35 as well on Amazon. But there's the replay page. And there's these big green buttons on here. You can grab your slot. Again, I saw my son off to school this morning. Couldn't be happier. He got into Norwich University yesterday. It's the oldest ROTC program in the country. It's the Military College of Vermont. Great hockey team, D3 hockey team, actually won the NCAA championship. So couldn't be more proud of my boy. I half grew up in Vermont. I was born and raised in New Jersey, and my folks had a ski place up in Vermont. So I love the Green Mountains, and very, very happy for my son. Good day. And then depending on what happens in the market today, I might send out an urgent alert, kind of a bonus final, and give you a slot update if there's any more. So Giles is grabbing his annual weekly options only. And Giles, I think that was you right here with the buzz. That was. So Giles, welcome aboard. Good to have you. So I might send out one more alert. My members are definitely going to get an alert this week, an urgent alert video, and it might be on volatility. I want to see how this day plays out here. So today I'm going to give you a brief review of Options Weapon School. I just updated slots. There's only 8 left after Giles. Performance for those of you, this might even be your first webinar. We started Monday night, but I know our strategic partners have been mailing throughout the week, so you might be walking into this cold. That's why you need to watch the replays. I'll do a quick strategic and operational brief. Like I said, a little bit of a relief rally in the market here. And then we, depending on time, we're going to definitely take a look at. I want to take a look at vol. We might take a look at another bearish trade on Tesla here. We'll debrief the week, and then well, I already made the special announcement. We did open up some monthlies to fill up our full 25, because I know a bunch of people emailed support and said, "Hey, do you have any monthly pricing?" And we only do that in case there is we have some slots empty. Okay. Got out of that. You guys know who I am by now. If you don't, Matthew Buckley, my call sign's Wiz. I flew the Hornet for the United States Navy for about 15 years, graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, which many of you know as Top Gun, and was also a bad guy pilot. I was a good bad guy, so I was an adversary. So I taught our Navy and Marine squadrons how to fight against our potential enemies overseas, and I also flew 44 combat sorties over Iraq. Hopefully by now you guys had an opportunity to take a look at my new favorite magazine, the Huffington Post article that they published last month. So this was pretty cool. Let me send this to you guys. Matthew, does the monthly include the Options Weapon School? Yes, all of those options do. All of those options, you will get access to the 8 sessions. Absolutely, Matthew. So I recommend you grab your slot before it's too late. And then here's the most recent article on the Huffington Post. So I don't have to sit here all morning and talk about my bio or my background. It's kind of documented publicly on these 2 sites. So yes, Matthew, let me go back. You'll see on the page here, everything that you get is included on this page. The PLTBs, that's the primary live trade briefs. The weekly services, the weekly option service, it's every Monday at 1 p.m. And that's optional for you to choose. The urgent alert service, and then here's the 8 sessions you'll get access to, and the manuals. Okay, so everything's on here, folks, and it's a pretty damn good. All right, Matthew's in for the monthly. Awesome, welcome aboard. So there goes another one. That's 7 slots left. And if you do the math, folks, it's about $4,000. So if you did the just annual for $9.95, you're saving about 75%. That's a pretty damn good deal. Okay. As you know, many of you know, all the methodologies that I've taught you this week, having a strategy, implementing tactics, managing risk, being disciplined, worked so well in my personal trading and my business consulting that I popped up on the radar of one of the largest volatility arbitrage firms in the world, headquartered right there in the Chicago Board of Trade. Those big windows. This is a Peak 6 Investments. While I was there, I helped build Options House, the retail brokerage, when it was good, before E-Trade destroyed it, and built a hedge fund, and was also the founder and CEO of the Options News Network. And I like to jokingly say I felt like Eddie or Billy Ray Valentine in Trading Places. So CEO of the Options News Network, and grew that company from me essentially to 80,000 members in about a year. It was pretty cool. We did commercials on CNBC, and probably the best time of my life. I had a blast, but Always, always, always wanted to build a military themed training company, because when I taught myself how to trade options, that's the type of methodologies I used. This 7-step trade plan that you have access to, that's in the handout section on your little control board to the right, this is all, like I said, it's not rocket surgery, folks, but it gives you a structure. It should be common sense to a lot of people, but it isn't necessarily. So been getting a lot of nice comments in the chat box over the past couple of days for the just, hey, thanks for the trade plan at a minimum. That was worth the price of admission. 7 years we've been around, which is incredibly long for an industry known for snake oil salesmen or saleswomen. That's obviously not us. Hit you right between the eyes with the truth, and admit when I'm wrong or have bad trades, and we learn from them, right? We don't educate. I will give you zero education. I will train you. The world's full of educated derelicts, and most of them are at Berkeley. Thousands of traders and investors of all experience levels. So folks, the vertical spread training I did last night, a bull put spread on Amazon, very middle of the road tactic. So if you're way advanced than that, we'll get there. If you're way basic than that, still learning what calls and puts are, this is where you're supposed to be. So when you go through the options weapon school videos, you're going to learn from, hey man, this is how a bill becomes a law, right? So all these, here's a call, here's a put, and then all the way up to 8 sessions later, this is an iron condor. And remember, you have access to the Ready Room, which is our online forum where you can interact with your fellow investors and traders and ask questions of me or everybody else. Combat tested and literally proven on Wall Street, all these methodologies. We utilize the demo do. I'm going to demonstrate how to do a bull put spread, then you go do, right? I'm heading over to TradeStation, probably complete that process tomorrow, where they do have paper trading accounts, because you should be shooting. Folks, I didn't read the book on the F-18 and run out to the flight line and try and get airborne, right? I'd be dead in about 2 minutes. We went to the simulator building where you get over there, you make mistakes, you learn. You should not be deploying any real capital until you know what the hell you're doing, okay? That's a no-brainer. So I'll give you an update on that in a little bit. Sweet. Okay, Sylvia is on board for an annual, so there's 7 slots left, folks. And like I said, when we take that page down, it's down. Here's our performance. The urgent alert and weekly options portfolio was blowing the doors off of it, folks. And you can see our biggest winner year to date has been trading volatility, VXX. JP Morgan's our silver medalist, and then just doing S&P 500 spreads and weekly options is number 3 there. Apple, some other trades as well. So really, really good returns in there. Accelerated retirement. And here's, I made this offer the last time we did Options Weapon School, and let me make it again to you all. If you're, with weekly options, they're pretty damn tactical. I don't think I'm ready yet for weekly options. I'll allow you to substitute accelerated retirement, that portfolio, for weekly options. Now, you guys haven't seen it. I did it yesterday at 1 o'clock with my AR members. But if you think weekly options might be a little bit sporty and you want to go a little bit more conservative, you can do that. So, Andrew, which one should a person sign up for if I do not know anything? Andrew, that's this. Choose. It doesn't matter. If you don't know anything about options, it's one of these buttons. You just decide. I would go with the Options Weapon School and weekly options. One of these two. One of these two on the right. Either do it month to month, Andrew, until you want to upgrade into an annual, or you can save money today, Andrew, and go directly to an annual. Okay? So my choice would be to recommend this one to save you money. I mean, this is a good trade right out of the gate, Andrew. Or you do the Options Weapon School and weekly options monthly. Does that make sense? Again, folks, scroll down. This is the training you're going to get. So, Andrew, if you don't know anything, we're going to start off with long calls, short puts, long puts, the basics of options, covered calls, cash secured puts, bullish vertical spreads. So this is the only program out there really that gives you this in-depth training, but also a practical application. Last night, I didn't have 82 slides like many other financial training firms talking about company ABC. What are you talking about? How about we get in the market, look at a trading get a, I love Bloomberg with their autoplay videos. It's awful. So we're gonna take that building block approach, Andrew. So grab one of the ones on the right here. either the green, these two green buttons, just whichever one you want. And we'll take you from I don't know, I know nothing, like Sergeant Schultz, all the way up to a steely-eyed options killer here pretty soon. And then our primary live trade brief portfolio, a hell of a lot of positions. That's old. That's up. It's up about 25 grand a year to date. Remember, folks, I always want to put my compliance officer hat on and say, hey, man, we lose some trades. Okay. Yeah. So Chuck, if you do a monthly subscription and we raise the price of an annual, we'll go ahead and honor this annual price right now. For example, if we go up to $19.95 for our options weapons school program, which is part of my 2008 strategic planning, is reviewing all of our pricing, we'll lock in at that cheaper rate. Yes. Bruce, you're going to get access to the eight. I appreciate you went through the Tasty Trade School of Options. The training is included, so it's not like we subtract the training and there's a package there. So Bruce, just do an annual, in my opinion, to save some money. I do this one, Bruce. I do the weekly. Since it sounds like you've done your training and stuff, then this one on the right is definitely your game plan here. I do this right there. Does that make sense? Steve, everything is recorded. Everything is recorded. So, here you go right here. Here's the weekly options trade from last week, folks. So when you become a member, and well, here's the weekly options brief from Monday. You guys didn't do it because that was for my members. So here's what the replay looks like. So I send out. Everybody gets a text alert, like I've been showing you all week. When I place a trade, I send out a text alert immediately in the session. So Steve, if you're not there, if you're sitting in death by meeting or sitting at work, your phone's going to buzz with a text alert with a trade. After the live trade brief is over, I send out an email with what? The screenshots of the trade. And then down here at the bottom, ladies and gentlemen, this is the replay. So Steve, I actually have I have a ton of members who. Chris, I don't know if Chris is in here. Chris sent me an email the other day. He's like, Wiz, this is the first time I've seen you live in 3 years. Chris has been a member for 3 years, and he only watches the replays. He gets his text alerts and the emails and watches the replays just because his work schedule doesn't allow it. So, Steve, you're good to go. Raymond, does the $9.95 include access to your chat room a year also? Absolutely, Raymond. Anybody who gets anything on this page, you get access to it's called the Ready Room. That's our online chat room, you bet. Any one of these options gives you access to the Ready Room, which is a great, great deal. Like I just showed you, there's a lot of good threads on Tesla or Saudi Arabia or what's going on. Charles, are the $14.95 price locked in for the renewals next year? Yes, Charles, exactly. I got to be honest with you. We have folks paying $9.95 a year for our Full Throttle Max program from 7 years ago. It's currently $3,000. So they still, for the rest of their life here at TGO, they will pay only $9.95 when the price is up at $29.95. Does that make sense? Andrew, also, if you started with $5,000 last year, would a person make more than the $1,500 per year fee? Andrew, I have no idea. Being my compliance officer, I'd say you could lose all $5,000 in the blink of an eye. Let me get that out of the way. Andrew, I can't predict in the future what $5,000 would look like a year from now. If you look at historically what our portfolios have performed like, I'd say that is absolutely achievable. But hey man, all it takes is one North Korean private, going bump in the night and accidentally lighting off an artillery piece, and the Dow's down at 0. Does that make sense? Katrina, you are super easy to follow. Thanks, Katrina. I appreciate that. So yeah, guys, go ahead and grab those now. For all the people that I answered your questions, Steve, Bruce, Raymond, grab your slots now because my phone's kind of buzzing, and unless that's you guys, we might be done by the end of this webinar with our 25 slots. So hopefully I answered all those questions. Go ahead and do that now because I know you guys have been here for a little while, or at least at the beginning of the week, so you know all this stuff. So let me, where is the link to the monthly? Guys, everything is on this page. Here's the monthly options. Choose Options Weapon School Monthly on the left. Choose Options Weapon School and Weekly Options Monthly is on the right. So there's 4 buy buttons, folks. The top 2 are annuals. The bottom 2 are monthlies. Does everybody see that? It says name empty field. So sorry if I'm trying to answer your question who said Okay, Steve's good. Steve got in yesterday. All right. So grab your slots, guys. Like I said, if I won't be sending you an urgent alert video if we get all 9. That'll just go to my members. Losing trades happen, folks. I mean, we put on an Exxon trade maybe Tuesday. That might be down a little bit. Who cares? I'm going to hold that trade for a year and a half, man, and we're going to trade the hell out of the front month. But you losing trades happens, folks. I told you Monday night. Professional traders want to win on average 60% of the time. Some of you wrote 100% of the time. That's physically impossible. I know of no trader ever in the history of man who's ever won on every trade. That's just a ridiculous metric. So, folks, I shoot for about a 70% win rate. That perfect example, the Google, when it changed its name to Alphabet a couple years ago, it blew out a weekly iron condor on. There are some missiles you can't see, and they're going to reach out and touch you. You have to know that losses happen, and you learn from them, right? We get better. That's what happens whenever we lose on a trade. Sylvana, how is this different from a full throttle membership? Sylvana, this is less than full throttle. It's less money and less services. So if you're in full throttle, you're actually doing you're doing better. So I mean, if people are interested, I don't want to confuse people. If you want access to everything we do here at Top Gun Options, I mean, I'll throw this out if somebody's interested. Go get FT. So here's our full throttle program, folks, where it's more expensive, but you get access to just about everything we do here at TGO. So if you want to know about this or want this page, let me know. Otherwise, I'm gonna stick with Options Weapon School because the confused mind. I don't want to confuse people, but it is the better program here, full throttle. Okay, our methodology, quick review, and then we're going to do it this morning, and then we're going to take a look at a trade. Okay, SOT, strategic, operational, tactical. Matthew's interested. Let me go back real quick. Matthew, let me give you the link. So if you want access to just about everything we do here at Top Gun Options, it's on this page. So I'll give this I'll give it to everybody if you just want to review. I know there's somebody yesterday who wanted Options Weapon School annual, and then once our support folks were talking to him and we told him about full throttle, he changed his mind and went over to the full throttle program. You'll still get access to the 8 training sessions, folks. It's just you get access to just about everything we do here. So there's the annual prices, $19.95, $24.95, and $29.95, and then the monthly options are underneath the box right there. Okay, so it's a little bit more expensive, the full throttle program, but you get access to everything, just about everything we do here. Okay, so Matthew, there you go. There's the link for you if you want to check out full throttle. All right, so hopefully by this, I'm breaking you of being that average retail trader. You're not just going to sit here and wake up and put on your bunny slippers and watch CNBC and try and start trading. We're going to break you of this. We do strategic, operational, and tactical briefs. Why? Because before you get tactical, you need to know what's going on in the world, in Europe, in Asia, in the Middle East. You need to know what's going on with central bankers around the world. You need to know what's going on with our central bank, tax reform, you name it, earnings. Then and only then can we get tactical, right? So we'll do our strategic brief this morning. We'll get operational, and then we're going to play some trades and get tactical. 7-step trade plan I gave you Monday night. It's in your download section right now, from determining our strategic mindset all the way down to identifying exit points. And I hit this pretty hard last night in the vertical spread training on Amazon. We identify before we ever get into a trade when we're going to get out of it. It makes sense, right? You don't want to be airborne and figure out, okay, when should I get out of this mission? No, you need to know that before you ever get airborne. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring up my trading cockpit. Let's do our strategic and operational brief, and then we will let's get to trading. Awesome. All right, who was that? Rebecca's on board for an. All right, guys, we got about 6 slots left. So I would, if you're interested, man, by the end of this webinar, we're probably going to be done. All right, here we go. I've covered throughout the week the worrying situation in Saudi Arabia. It is it's not, remember, you have a lot of wizisms so far that I've laid on you this week. One of them is the market only cares when it cares. Just because, CNBC, squawk on the streets covering some investor conference doesn't mean that there's, Iranian-backed rebels in Yemen getting ready to shoot at a Saudi oil tanker or another ballistic missile at the capital. And the Saudi Arabian, the new crown prince, or the new and up-and-coming crown prince, doesn't declare war, and all of a sudden oil's at $500. That's why the energy sector is a very volatile sector, folks. We're one incident away from a huge spike in oil. So the Saudi Arabian thing is on my radar. I get an intelligence briefing every morning from the DoD, the Department of Defense news service, that aggregates a lot of news that just people don't even know about, and I share it with you all. So this is definitely on my radar. And like I said, the market only cares when it cares. The market will sit up and pay attention to this when something bad happens. And then as far as a retail trader, it's too late for you. So when the Dow's down 1,000 points and the VIX is up at 50 because of Iran and Saudi Arabia war, it's too late for you. It ain't going to be too late for me because we're hedged. We've beat North Korea to a pulp. President tried to do a victory speech yesterday. Huge. Nobody does North Korea better than me. Okay, great. There is a Chinese envoy heading over to, after the president left, heading to North Korea, trying to do some diplomacy. I think this special envoy to North Korea from China, is going there to convey kind of a last ditch, hey man, this Trump dude ain't messing around. How does this end? When you think about it, how does North Korea end? I've read articles in the journal. The Wall Street Journal went over there a couple months ago with their reporters, and they interviewed everybody, even like a bartender in some rich neighborhood where only the politicians live. Obviously, they all know about their nuclear weapons. They showed a nursery where kids are taken care of. They're playing with tanks and nuclear missiles. They know that their nuclear weapons gives them respectability on the world stage. There's no way on God's green earth that North Korea is going to give up their nukes. You listen to Secretary of Defense Mattis, you listen to the president. There's no way in hell we're going to let there be an armed North Korea. So what happens, folks? Again, the market only cares when it cares. This is a sleeper story. Something bad is about to happen. Okay. Jim, the DoD. Yeah, I can pull that up. Let me do my brief here. So, here's the funny the funny headlines here. Let me see if I can. Let me find my DoD news. It is. I think I already put it over here. One second. Where is it? Right here. So here's my the DoD news site I get every morning. So it's U.S. Department of Defense, and it goes, it's really good. Here's the top stories. Let's see. Military pays for surgery on gender. That's great. So apparently they don't listen to the commander in chief when they give him an order. ISIS in Syria, Zimbabwe, Iraq, Syria blasts U.S., Turkey appalled. Russia, we never promised Iranian troops out of Syria. Oh boy. Middle East. So here's, I do this rundown, and these are all hot links, and you click on them, and it takes you to the, there you go. Saudi-led coalition bombs airport runway in Yemen's capital. Do you guys know that happened? Lockheed offers glimpse into missile defense eyed by Saudis. An audacious Saudi prince has many looking over their shoulder. Good stuff. So this is, Trump's mixed messages on 12-day Asia trip fails to reassure allies. Oh, that's great. Afghanistan, Europe. So good stuff. Then it breaks it down by services. The Army's McCain outraged by Army waivers. So the Army, so desperate for people, is giving waivers for people who self-mutilate. That's exactly who we need in the military, folks. They cut themselves, but they're they're worthy to follow orders. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Jim, you should absolutely, man. This intel right here is worth its weight in gold. I know what's going on around the world that the media ain't talking about. Okay, so that's worth the price of admission right there. Plus, I have an extensive network, folks, of men and women still on active duty and still doing the Lord's work. So. So, like I said, extensive network of bros still in the military, and it's it's good to go. Good for U.S. armaments. Yeah, exactly. F Trader. This is it's awesome. The our Raytheon trade is just going to crush it over the next couple weeks. You should get just the Raytheon trade alone, folks, is some good stuff. Raymond, can you go over how OWS is different from your other 3 monthly programs? Real quick, folks, this is called Full Throttle. This is where you get access to the defensive track. Is you get everything we do and accelerated retirement instead of weekly options. The offensive track, you get everything and weekly options instead of accelerated retirement. That's why it's called offensive. And then the max afterburner is the best value. It's $295 a month or $29.95. So, folks, if you're looking at prices, Options Weapons School is cheaper, but you get less services. That's the biggest difference, Raymond, is Options Weapons School is cheaper, but you get less services. If you want everything we do kind of here at Top Gun Options, you go with Full Throttle. Harry, I'm up. Raytheon's up 3% today. Whew. Yeah. Kevin, we do. We just haven't sent one out in a while for the ATAs. We're hiring a new trader, and he should be starting the beginning of the year. Remember, folks, traders don't go anywhere towards the end of the year because then after being somewhere for a year, they give up their bonus, which just ain't going to happen. So the GOP is set for big tax win. I got to be honest with you, nobody cares. Of course, it's going to win in the House. There's going to be Republicans voting against it, but China contradicts Trump on nuclear arsenal. Well, there you go. Awesome. So Trump leaves, and now China's already bad-mouthing us behind his back. Sweet. So the GOP winning in the House should have been a layup or will be a layup. It's the Senate, folks. Does anybody know how many legislative days we have left? How many days does the Senate have to pass tax reform? It's like 4 or something, isn't it? Not going to happen. John McCain said no. Senator Cruz said no. Whatever senator said no last night as well. So there's like 3 Republican no's. It's not going to happen. No, Rick, there's only like 4 or 5 legislative days left. Isn't that incredible? It's bad. So let me talk about this real quick. This is why ExxonMobil in the energy sector got hit yesterday. Norway's $1 trillion wealth fund wants to dump $35 billion of oil and gas stocks. So ExxonMobil took a little bit of a hit along with energy yesterday. I don't care. I'd be lucky to pick Norway out on a map. It's not going to impact ExxonMobil in the long run. Just kind of a short-term hit to those guys. Stocks, where we're bouncing back after a little bit of a losing streak. There's really no, it's the tax plan is the main thing in focus here, folks. That's about it. There's just a general feeling there's some frothy behavior, especially in the U.S., and I'm more weary of what the growth drivers are from here. So it's a great question, folks. Look at this. Where do we go from here? What's the, we kind of, are we pulling out of this nosedive? Is this a dead cat bounce, or, is this to be believed? Jeff, thank you. Ron Johnson, that's right. And then let's get to this. So the Tesla killer. We might take a look at a Tesla trade. Fisker, remember Fisker? It was Tesla and Fisker. This was the other hybrid auto company. Went out of business. Well, the guy's back, and he's actually coming out with new Fisker batteries, which are 2.5 times the density and 500 miles per charge. and it charges in a minute. So his whole thin film lithium battery thing will be obsolete. His gigafactory producing thin film lithium batteries could be obsolete. So this is, I'm not going to bore you with all the battery talk here, but this is bearish on Tesla. I continue to be bearish on Tesla, and had a little bit of a pop today. It's up 1%. So folks, if you're in the Tesla trade right now, it's like the 310, 315 or something like that, you might want to look to roll it out to next week. I'm short-term bearish on Tesla, folks, and I think today is going to be a sell on the news. I just don't. There's nothing really going on with Tesla that is good news. He already gave us what he's going to talk about today, unless he comes out with something incredibly smashing. But we could, put on a repair trade as far as that, folks. Somebody asked last night about a bull put spread here for Tesla. I was a little leery of that, but because I would wait to hear on this news today, and it's after market close, so we're not gonna know anything. The stock running up like this into this announcement, I just don't, remember, when something's not doing what you think it should be, you either get out of the way or join it. So maybe you do put on a repair bull put spread, maybe down here at the 310, right? But the negatives for Tesla, folks, are this. The EV, the electronic vehicle credits, are supposed to be getting killed in the tax plan. So I'd maintain a bearish on Tesla. Are you ejecting the XOM calendar? Oh God, no. Who asked that? Robert? I thought I answered you last night or somebody. Folks, XOM, guys, I will have this trade on for a year and a half, guys. This is not, you don't eject from a long call diagonal unless the company's like completely going out of business. Folks, and if you didn't get in the ExxonMobil from earlier in the week, this is a great opportunity to get in. Absolutely not. No, guys. This is, if you notice, in my long call diagonals, I don't put out an eject level because I don't. I think the only long call diagonal I ever got close to even thinking about was Apple about 3 years ago. Let me bring this up. Where is it? It went through 100 right here. So, folks, listen to me. With a long call diagonal, I put what I call disaster puts 20% below the stock. Robert, one of the things to me is if that disaster put starts making money for some reason, that's kind of my wake-up call. Is like, whoa, is this long? Is this ExxonMobil, this Apple, this whatever in danger? So if it's not, the eject point would be around that disaster put, folks. I absolutely not. This is a hell of a trade. And it's an even better entry point than I covered the other day. Does that make sense? And folks, remember, let me give you this analogy again, Robert. Maybe you didn't hear it. I placed a long call diagonal about 8 months ago on ExxonMobil, and it did this. What the hell is that? I don't want any of that. I need a line tool. Let me find my line right here. So it imploded, but guess what I did? For the next 7 months, I traded bear call spreads, bull put spreads, and iron condors on the front month. So I turned a $7,000 losing long call diagonal into up $4,000, an $11,000 change in direction, and then I finally bailed out ExxonMobil when it did that. So no, this is a great entry point. Does everybody understand that? Kevin, did I hear correctly that there's a new advanced trainer? Supposed to be, Kevin. I think I've conveyed this a bunch. I've interviewed. I've narrowed it down to 3 people, and you guys will know shortly. But like I said, traders don't go anywhere at the end of the year, folks. They trade and they stay at a firm for their bonuses. So in January and February is when a lot of talent moves around. So more on that later, Kevin. Does everybody understand this long call diagonal methodology? Now, ExxonMobil had a hell of a run from its bottom, and now it's getting back into this channel that we traded it with. So the answer is no. I plan, ladies and gentlemen, we hold these long call diagonals for years. We've closed out JP Morgan trades for, 100 and or $38,000, $40,000. Diane, I don't know if Diane's in here. Mike, a couple other people were up $150,000 with 20 contracts in a Goldman Sachs trade I recommended. Let me say that again. I did 5 contracts. They did 20 for whatever reason, based on their risk. Mike was up $150,000. Now he took half of that off the table, which was exactly what he should have done, and before Goldman Sachs, decided to implode. So no, so here's right before the election, I said get long Goldman Sachs, and that was it, baby. And then it's just been kind of trading sideways. Kind of sucks. Harry, I would absolutely. Yeah, HH, it's January of 2020. Chill on the long call diagonals. That's exactly right. Renee, good question. So we sold it depends. So Renee asked a good question on ExxonMobil. Hey, Wiz, it looks like the front month upside call is looking pretty good. So Renee, I use my normal profit target, Renee. If I sell something, a front month upside call like an ExxonMobil, or a bull put spread, a bear call spread. If I see a 7, 8, or 9, so Renee, if those short calls are up 70, 80, 90%, I'd probably close them. I'd roll them down and maybe out a couple weeks. Does that make sense? So yeah, absolutely. John, I'm out of the front month in ExxonMobil with a 90% profit. Excellent. That is awesome. That's great. That's exactly what we want to see. So put on some new ones. And folks, with ExxonMobil going down right now, here's what's awesome is somebody who bought shares in ExxonMobil is losing money. We're not. I mean, we might be down some money, but I'd sell an at the money call right now. I'd go out a couple weeks and look at like the 81s or the 82s. I'd go out a couple weeks and sell the 82s. So buy these to close, the ones we talked about. What is it, the 83.5? I'd go with the maybe the 81s. The 81.5. I'd go out to December 1st and sell the 81.5. That's a nice credit. Bring in about $360. Isn't this awesome? Awesome. Good, guys. Wiz, did I hear correctly on Tesla? Yeah, Harry, I'm not. Any other questions on ExxonMobil? This is a good trade. You're in it for the long haul. This is an Obama teachable moment, folks. You don't do long call diagonals on stocks that ain't going to be around or that are very volatile. I only do long call diagonals, a JP Morgan, an Apple, a Facebook. Our Facebook long call diagonals in the accelerated retirement portfolio were up like 120 grand. I had 3 of them. They were up like $40,000 each. So you do a long call diagonal on something you're pretty damn confident is going to be around in a couple years. Okay. So any other questions on ExxonMobil? Once ExxonMobil stabilizes, I mean, right now, in addition to selling the front month short calls, we could sell a bear call spread. If something is on a tear or something's imploding, either get out of the way or join it. You might even look at a bear call spread here on ExxonMobil. And that's one of my rules of thumb, folks, is in today's environment, mainly my front month trades are going to be on positions that I have out to Jan 19. Make sense? All right. Let's move on here. But for Tesla, I'm not, it's an after the close announcement, folks. And the trade has until tomorrow. So if you think, I do think it might be a sell on the news, but if I roll it early right now, I might be able to still get some credit. Then you might want to roll it out now. Again, that's as a portfolio manager, I'd say that probably do that. As Wiz, I'm not. I trade a little bit more aggressively because Murphy's Law says I roll it right now, and then the announcement this afternoon is a non-event, and then we're screwed. Let's talk about volatility. Because this, look at that. What did I tell you about volatility? What did I tell you? When vol's cheap, you buy it. When it's expensive, you sell it. Right now, so we put on a bullish double vertical right here, which hopefully people have managed and gotten out. I know Diane got out with like $2,400 of profit. So as this went up here, I said to my members this week in these sessions and also through my own communication to look to get out. And then we put on what? On Monday, we did what, folks? So in our weekly options brief on Monday, look at what we did. What did Wiz say to do? A bearish double vertical. So this is from November 13th, folks. You guys joined me Monday night for the welcome aboard brief, but Monday at 1 o'clock, I put on a bearish double vertical on volatility. It's exactly right, Harry. So look at this. This is now this trade's starting to make money. I briefed you that you can have dueling volatility trades on. Wiz, I don't know when volatility is going to come in. I just know it can't stay elevated forever. So how's everybody's, for my members, how are your VXX bearish double verticals looking? And remember, folks, I'm going to teach you all this stuff. So James, welcome aboard from Cedar Ridge, Colorado. He's got a monthly slot there, a couple other folks. I think we're down to 4 slots remaining, guys. So I would put on, even right now, it's a good trade. I would get bear. You know what? Maybe that's what we'll take a look at for our weekly options trade. I just talked myself into it. So a good proxy. Now the VIX, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what the VIX is, the volatility index, the fear gauge, I love when people call it the fear gauge. The fear gauge goes up on uncertainty and goes down on certainty. Okay. Harry's down a little bit, but it's up 7.7% today. Yeah, this smash in volatility is going to, because I put on the bearish double vertical right around here, and we had another, we had 1 or 2 more days of volatility spiking, and then this is how it happens, folks. Vol goes up, and then this is a vol smash. In the blink of an eye, we're down 12% on the VIX. So this double vertical, let's just add one, okay? So what's that? The 30, probably the 35 and a half. So this trade, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't plan on doing this, to be honest with you, but when I see a trade that makes sense, especially for potential new members, I'm going to do it. So let me ask you a question, because this is kind of an advanced tactic, but it isn't, because I'm going to do it slow, and I'm going to teach you guys something really, really cool. If you don't think, if you think volatility is going to go down, so this is the VXX, and I'll teach you the difference between the VIX and VXX. I trade VXX as a proxy for volatility. If you think volatility is going to go down, if you think volatility is going to go down, the VXX is coming down with just like this spike. It went up and then down. It went up, and maybe it's going to go down. So answer me this, folks. If you think volatility is going to go down, what do you also think it's not going to do? It sounds like a go up. That's exactly right, folks. So think about this. If you don't think Wiz, I think vol's going down. It's coming in. You're right. They sounded the all clear. We inoculated ourselves against the failure of tax reform. We're done. This could potentially be 2 trades. So if you don't think something's going to go up, we could sell what is called a bear call spread. I'm bearish on volatility. I'm going to use calls, and it's a spread. But if I also think something is going down, and somebody asked me a good question about this last night in the brief, we could buy a bear put spread as well. So a double vertical, which I'm going to build for you right now, is nothing but 2 vertical spreads on top of each other with the same strategic mindset. So this is going to be kind of a weekly trade, because I'm going to go out to next Friday, which is the 24th. So I'm going to pick the 24th in my expiration, and let's build this trade together. It's called a double vertical. Now, for my existing members, we already put one of these on Monday, so I wouldn't be quadrupling or doubling up here, right? So I'm going to go pretty close to at the money. I'm going to do the 35. Watch this. Let me just build this real quick, and then I'm going to talk through it, folks. So these are calls, the 35, 35 and a half. So right here, folks, here's a bear call spread. I'm going to sell, I don't know, 125. Let me just put these in here as placeholders. Of the 35 calls, that's me saying, hey, by next Friday, I think VXX is below 35. Well, what if you're wrong, Wiz, and Jesus, Ganesh, and Buddha come back to life next week, and there's no volatility. It goes to zero. There's nothing wrong in the world. Well, great. We'll all have achieved inner peace. But this, VXX, in case it spikes, we're hedged above that. So you guys know what a bear call spread looks like. So there's the blue line is VXX. We want it to go down. It could stay where it is, or it could even go up a little bit, and we potentially make money. But I'm not done with this yet, folks. So Wiz, that this is saying you don't think the VXX is going to keep going up. You're right. What if I think it's going to go down? Let's do the put spread, right? So let's buy. I'll put 125 in here as a placeholder. So this is what is it? Let's do it the 34 puts. And I'll take a screenshot of this and I'll text it out and all that stuff, so you don't have to worry about it. 33 and a half. And we need to sell those. So there you go, folks. This is now let me take a look at the picture. It looks like a busy screen. I'm going to explain it to you. The first thing we're going to look at when we go over to here is the P&L diagram. Okay? So check this out. Bear call spread, bear put spread. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this trade is nothing more than two trades that are on top of each other, technically, with the same strategic mindset. I'm bearish. I'm really, really, really bearish on volatility. I think the market's kind of inoculated itself against the failure of tax reform. I think that we're kind of a little oversold at this point. I think vol is going to come in. So look at the picture, folks. There's the blue line. We just need the blue line to go to the left. We need volatility to come in. I think 125 contracts is a little rich. Let me go down to I don't know, 110 or something. And what am I doing here? I'm doing my contract size, probably about 100. I'm trying to get right around my SOP of not wanting to risk more than $5,000 on any one trade. That's close enough. All right, so here are the spreads. Let me start up here. The bear call spread. Remember, a bear call spread, I'm going to teach you all of this in Options Weapons School, is called a credit spread. Okay, so I'm bringing in a credit to do this trade. The 35, 35 and a half is a bear call spread. What am I going to do with the credit that I take in? Well, Wiz is cheap. He's going to turn around and buy a bear put spread. That's what makes this trade a double vertical. This is that top secret trade that I said I might have time to cover this week, and I'm going to, now that it looks like volatility is going to. Sybil, are there other names, terms for bear call spreads? Exactly. And Sybil, as I covered in my training last night, I call the spread what it is with its strategic mindset, either a bear call spread or a bear put spread. The other two names for these, a bear call spread is also what? A credit spread. And the third thing it could be called is what? A vertical spread. I don't call them those two things. I call this a bear call spread, and this is a bear put spread. A bear put spread can also be called a debit spread or a vertical spread. So each spread can be called three things. I don't. I call it based on its strategic direction, bearish or bullish. Make sense? You'll also see it's a net debit. Okay, so if you just did this debit spread, the bear put spread, you'd be coming out of pocket a lot of money. This isn't. It's only 7 cents. So now let me click on the snapshot analysis tool here, and now we can see our max potential loss. The first place our eyes go is that max potential loss, $5,700. So based on a $100,000 model portfolio and me not wanting to risk more than 5% on any one trade, that's pretty damn close. So I'm potentially by next Friday making $4,300 if volatility continues to come in. If the market's bottomed out and people are doing this, everybody knows what BTFD means, right? Buy the effing dip. This might be a BTFD moment. Every pullback, ladies and gentlemen, year to date on the S&P 500, first of all, has been political, and second of all, has been a BTFD moment. This has been the biggest BTF moment for the past 2.5 months. So is this moment, right? I don't think this is a dead cat bounce. I think this is a pretty good rally. I mean, the Dow's up almost 180 points. This has got some airspeed to it. So a bearish double vertical is pretty damn good. Arthur, this is recording, right, Wiz? Yes, we had a dreadful flight. Oh, that sucks, Arthur. Yes, everything's recorded, guys. You will never miss anything. Like I told you, one of my members joined me for the first time in 3 years the other day. I guess he got off from work or something. He only watches the replays. He gets his text alerts on his phone and watches the replays, guys. So yeah, everything's recorded. So this is a pretty damn good trade. Let me talk to you about trade management real quick. If we see a violent move in the direction of our double vertical, meaning bearish, volatility comes in, the VXX implodes, Wiz, tax reform gets passed in the House and the Senate thinks they can do it, and peace, love, and understanding break out. If we, if we see a violent move, start taking a look at making some profits. I think Diane, she said she made her $2,400. She didn't sit here to wait for the max profit. Remember, pigs get slaughtered. In the blink of an eye, folks, you could have a bearish double vertical on like this on volatility, and it be looking good, and you get greedy, and then all of a sudden breaking news: Saudi Arabia declares war on Iran, and the VIX is up at 30, and now you're out $5,700. So you have to be early. You have to be Johnny on the spot with getting in and out of these trades. So let me, let me do this because this will be the urgent alert for the week, actually. And like I said, folks, if you already have one of these on, I'm talking to my members right now. If you already have a bearish double vertical on, then it should be starting to gain airspeed right now. VXX. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, I always take a screenshot and I always send out a text alert. So mid-market is about 6 cents. It's about a 6 cent debit. So I'll send out a screenshot of these trades to my members along with the recording. Harry, should we still have the VIX as a hedge? Yeah, Harry, just getting long VIX calls out to December ain't stupid, man. Those are hedges, right? That's not a trade or a trade. That's no kidding. Just put those in your filing cabinet, and if you wake up and something really, really, really bad has happened, those will be making money. So I'd still have those hedges on. That's a good question. So that's a yes. Yeah, if it's a hedge, man, I almost set it and forget it, like a Ronco oven. All right, let me blast this out. So this is what happens in our regular live trade briefs as a member. Wiz, my password won't let me log in. Could I? HH, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Your password wouldn't let you log in. It should, if you're brand new, it's password 1, I think, or something like that. But just shoot an email to support. I can't help you live here with the password issue. Where is, okay, so let's go to this. So this is analyze your trade and debrief. Is this portfolio new? Actually, you know what? I'll send it out as my urgent alert. Urgent alert, new, VXX, bearish, double, vertical, 100 contracts, NOV 24, expiry. Going to sell the, let me bring the trade up, 34 or 33.5 34s, 33.5 34s, 33.5 puts. We're going to buy the 34 puts. We're going to sell the 35 calls. Oh, for all right, Bloomberg, you're gone. And buy the 35.5 calls. Yep, that's it. Let me blast this out. At a 6-cent debit, and I don't put a range. I just try and get filled on this, not stupid expensive, but enough. If have existing, hello. So to my current members, if you already have a bearish double vertical on VXX on that I talked about on Monday, I wouldn't add this. If you have existing, don't add. Something like that. I think you guys know what that means. Okay. And then I will, I'll blast this out to the opt-ins as well. The folks that gave us their cell phone number. Where is it? Options Weapon School launch registration. So let me I'll give this to you for free. I think we have only four slots remain. Options Weapon School. So we only have about only 4 OWS slots remain. Whoops. 4 OWS slots. Okay, so if you gave us your cell phone number when you opted in, you should be good to go. Ryan, hey Schlong, it's yep, I got my text too. Are we putting on last night's trade you went over in class? Harry, that is a good trade. I said that last night. The Amazon bull put spread is a viable trade. So it's guys, the VXX is a Barclays ETF. I can't stand Barclays. Most of them should be in jail. They manipulated LIBOR a couple years ago, but it's a good proxy for the VIX. Guys, the VIX itself, remember, is futures on the S&P 500 30 days out. We're looking at puts and calls on VIX futures. So the VIX really isn't the VIX. And again, this is an 8-hour lecture here. So the VIX is the spot VIX. It isn't the immediate volatility VIX, folks. So that's why you got to trade an ETF. But when you look at like the VXX, that's why I like this bearish double vertical, because look at the VXX, what it does over time. It is impacted by things called backwardation and contango. Okay, so backwardation and contango eat at this thing, and it has to be rebalanced. Matter of fact, last month it did a reverse 4-for-1 split. So this thing goes down over time anyway, which is, but when volatility spikes, it spikes a little bit and a little bit, but it ends up going down. So the good proxy to trade VIX is VXX. You can't do spreads on the VIX because you are using futures. You can just be a straight call buyer of VIX calls. Harry asked me earlier, I said, folks, I'd be going out, he wants the tax plan signed by Christmas. I don't think it's going to happen. I'd just buy some December VIX something calls, double where we are right now, and put them in your pocket. So, I'm sorry, screen was frozen. My bad. Sorry about that, guys. I know the Russell. I was asked. Somebody asked me about the IWM. I'm not a big roller, folks. It's you know, the rut. Let me look at the rut. The Russell 2000. We're looking at bear market territory, man. I mean, this is bad. This is a little bit of a relief rally here, but the Russell 2000 is in correction territory. I would be, I'd be done. I wouldn't. I don't know, man. I'm not a big roller of trades. I have a commit criteria and strategic mindset. If any of those change, I'll look to roll, but I wouldn't, man. Yeah, IWM is the ETF. I'm taking a look at the. I don't trade the IWM. I would trade the Russell. I don't trade SPY. I trade SPX for tax purposes. So, but whoops, that's my reminder that I need to get off the call here. You should be hearing me, Arthur. But guys, that's my hedge fund call. That was perfect timing. All right. Well, we're going to wrap up Options Weapons School, folks. I opened up the squadron to everybody. We had a couple thousand people attend each one of these. This has been great. There's your options, folks. I have about 4 slots remaining. I opened up a monthly option if you're interested. If you are interested in getting more than what we do, than just your Options Weapons School stuff, it's called Full Throttle. I didn't brief you on this because I just didn't, we did a Full Throttle a couple months ago, and I thought people would want Options Weapons School. So, folks, if you're interested in Full Throttle, it's right there. It's a little bit more expensive, but you get access to everything we do here, not just some of the stuff like you do with Options Weapons School, okay? So it's right there. go.topgunoptions.com/get-OWS. That's where you need to go. If you're calling support to order, I mean, you can, but it's going to be quicker. Once this page is down, ladies and gentlemen, we're done. And we have our 25 people, and we're going to get airborne without you. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that. Arthur, go for make. I'm in 100% with Wiz. No questions. Good, Arthur. Welcome aboard, man. And then I'll get the replay posted shortly on this page. I'll keep the replay page up probably through the weekend, even if we get our 25 slots, just in case you want to watch stuff. If you didn't attend last night, make sure you watch the vertical spread training last night on Amazon. Really, really good trade. I think that's a great trade. People who got in it first thing this morning out of the gate are already up some money right here. So we should be good to go. All right, folks, I'm going to run. I'm already 8 minutes late for my hedge fund call, so I'm going to get going. Thanks for attending Options Weapons School. Grab your Options Weapons School slot. If you want to give us a call for whatever reason, there's our phone number, 754-300-1084, and welcome aboard. We'll fill up our remaining 4 slots here probably after I close this webinar, and we'll get airborne without you guys, okay? All right, folks, have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge, and God bless. We'll see you.